How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Stand Focused for Jesus. Hope each and every one of you are having a blessed day in the Lord, or blessed night in the Lord Jesus Christ. As always, obviously you see it is nighttime here. Just stepped out the house, actually just got the shower to make this video for a prayer request. If you ain't about that prayer life, if you're not really for the saints, then step aside. But for those of you who are really about the saints, who are really for the saints, who are really about this life, we seriously, like, this, people don't want to do right, man. This is a serious matter. I have to be very careful with what I say because of how serious it is, and this video potentially being used as evidence later. So if it ends up being deleted in the near future, this is probably why. Are we being sued, or are we suing? We are doing the suing because people don't want to do right. For those who don't know, the goal from the beginning, when we moved to Hot Springs, was to do real estate, along with everything else I've told y'all about. We got to the point that we are at now, putting in the work and building equity in the property. The first time, we thought the property was sold. The people were literally living in the house for like 3 months. The lady that was buying it, she had moved from Oregon, and this is the house that she wanted out of all the houses. Moved in, settled in, had a dog and everything. Until the banks started tripping. I'm like, no, we're not going through all that, and I'm not going to give the whole story, but y'all know the rundown of all the demonic principalities that were coming against us selling this property, not wanting us to have any type of money. Because if you redo a house and you sell it for a nice piece of change, you're supposed to make a profit. So it would have been a nice piece of change to do some things and continue forward. Were there things I could have done better and avoided? Absolutely. But they were also things that I was ignorant of and I wouldn't have learned unless I went through the process. So I'm not going to sit here and say there's nothing I could have done better. I'm not the type of guy. There's always something I can do better. Even when I've done something good or better, I can do it better. That's just me. But the things that happened, they were out of our control. If I would have known certain things, I would not have even let those things happen, because I would have been like, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. I learned my lesson, because when this situation came around this time, I was like, no, we ain't doing that, because I already went through that. And I see the writing on the wall. I see the quote unquote red flags. Now, an option that we had, if we didn't sell the property, was to do a cash out refi, or possibly a HELOC, home equity line of credit. If you don't know what these terms mean, then you can go look it up. It's not complicated to understand. Cash out refi, HELOC, they basically work on the same principle. You're borrowing against the value of the property. Normally it's like 85% LTV, which is loan to value. So the property is valued at $150,000. They give you 80% of that value, which was $120,000. We decided to go the route of doing a cash out refinance using our VA, because there are VA benefits, because it's a lot of things that you get, a lot of perks that you get that you wouldn't get if you're buying a house normally. Going through the whole process, and there was things I didn't understand, things I didn't agree with. I'm like, this sounds like a scam. in the sense of how I'm viewing it, not in the sense of it's a scam company, because this is a legit company. Not gonna name them, but it's a legit company that does mortgages. They did, I think, $6 billion in mortgages in 2024 alone, if I'm not mistaken. There was, like I said, there was things that was like, so you know me, y'all know me, I'm gonna do my research. I'm reading. Oh, they're trying to charge us for this when they're not supposed to charge us for this. It's illegal. They're breaking the literal law. They're doing this when they're not supposed to be doing this, packaging this together and presenting it one way, which is deceptive practices. They're breaking the law. They're asking for this information when it's not required, and this is discrimination, and this is discrimination, this is discrimination, this is discrimination. Like, man, these folks is. But I gave them a chance to fix it, and they didn't fix it, and got to they fixed certain things, but it's like, y'all playing games. And then there was other things I'm like, no, this smells like these people do not know what they're doing. And that's the issue that we ran into the first time, that the people that were working our deal, they really didn't know what they were doing. We were doing their job. And they ended up basically costing us selling the house, because if the people that were working our deal would have, our deal would have first and foremost did what they're supposed to do, knowing what they're doing, a lot of the extra stuff that came about out of our control, it would have never even happened. So I was highly upset about that. Which leads us to what we're dealing with now. Being highly upset because of the discrimination aspect of it, and the games, and what I deem, this is just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer, anything like that. These things have to be proven in a court of law. That's how serious it is. Mortgage fraud that this company was trying to commit by charging bogus fees that are against the law and against the VA regulations, all this other stuff. Not only with us, but with others that we found out that they had gotten penalized by a certain state for doing the exact same thing. Now we have established a pattern that this company is not accidentally doing. This company is purposely doing this. They're purposely doing this. So me being me, I did some more research and stuff, and eventually we canceled the process because I didn't want to go through with it anymore. And I reached out to a whole bunch of people, sending it to the CFPB, HUD, Department of Justice, Civil Rights Department, Civil Rights Division, the Attorney Generals in different states. I've gotten responses from these people. We actually have a case with the Arkansas Attorney General against this company. So how serious it is, but that's not even the big part. That's not even what you need to be praying about. Pray for all this, but I just want you to get the gist of how serious this is, y'all. For y'all to really pray for what I want y'all to pray for. So I did my research again on attorneys for the civil rights violation and discrimination part of it, because I was able to basically prove that this is what they're doing. This is a pattern of what they do, because they already got in trouble for it the first time, and they were doing some other illegal stuff. And guess what? Everything they were doing illegally in this other state, they were doing to us. Every single thing. They got suspended. Their license got suspended for 30 days. Got fined $100,000. Got put on probation. They're still on probation. This just happened last year when they got in trouble for this. Yeah, this is how serious this is. I reached out to some attorneys, two so far, that I was very, very interested in seeing if they're going to take this case. That was 2 days ago. Today, we received a phone call from one of the attorneys, and they said that they are very, very, very interested in taking this case because it fits their profile, fits what they like to go after. I did a little bit more research and I found out why, because they have some cases that are currently going on, which kind of like dealing with the same thing, mortgage. I know I don't like that word, but we're going to use it. Mortgage discrimination. I documented everything. Every email. When they started with that bull job, I was documenting everything, saving everything, basically building a case for ourselves because of what they are doing, not were doing, but what they are doing. I then took this and I compiled it, and I was able to send over a message to this attorney to see if they were interested. Now, this type of attorney, along with most of these type of attorneys, they don't take your case unless they feel like they can win. They won't even look at it really unless it fits what they are about. Like I said, I did this 2 days ago, and this attorney contacted us today. Well, representative attorney wasn't an attorney himself, but his representatives, and he basically said that he's going to submit it over to the attorneys for them to review it, and within 14 days, it could be less. He said because of the nature of the nature of the lawsuit and everything that we're pursuing, it could be less. So 14 days, they're going to get back with us and let us know if they're going to take the case. If not, he said that they would hand it over to one of their partner law firms. They may say, well, why would they do that? The reason why they would possibly do that, to hand over for one of their law firms, because the attorney that contacted us back is a very prominent attorney. So if this goes the way it goes, then it will be in the news and be all over the media and stuff like that, especially with everything else going on. Again, this attorney, I found out, has lawsuits currently going on against, I can say them, against Navy Federal for mortgage discrimination against black veterans. Who is this attorney, and what do I need prayer for? I'm not going to mention his name. I'm going to let you figure it out. There was a case in Minnesota, I think it was, with George Floyd, and there was a lead attorney on the case. Breonna Taylor, I think Trayvon Martin, a lot of the big civil rights cases with police brutality, this black attorney with a clean shaven face and basically a bald head, he represented these people or their families. You can especially go look up who was the lead attorney on the George Floyd case, and you be like, oh, you can pause that right now and go look it up, and then there you go. Yes, that is the law firm that, well, one of the law firms that I reached out to, and they came back to us. So obviously there's interest. Like I said, this ain't, y'all know I don't play anyway like that. If I want to play, I got a wife to play with. I'm just being real. I got a wife to play with however I want to play with her, and I got children to play with as my children. So I'm not here to play games about this stuff. This stuff is serious. And obviously you figured out who that attorney is. They contacted us. We're interested. I'm just waiting for them. We're waiting for them to get back to us so I can submit the document, give them whatever they want. Because I got the case built. I didn't build the case out myself. With all the evidence that they need to hold these people responsible and accountable for what they have done to us and what they're doing to others. Is the money aspect of it, of course, is nice because this certain lawyer, he don't play around. He don't play around. He don't play around when it comes to these issues, and he's getting folks. He's almost like a modern day Johnny Cochran. Gonna put it like that. If you don't know, you ain't figured it out. So if he takes the case, then you already know. I'm telling him, like, you need to make an example of them. That's what I want to do. I want you to make an example of these people that are doing this, not only for themselves, but other people. Now, this is what I need from y'all. I need y'all to pray to the Most High that He touches whoever heart He need to touch, Maybe it's this the attorney himself, his team, whoever, to move the hearts of them to go ahead and take the case. Once they look at it, to take the case. Once they talk to us, to take the case. Because we know, most likely, it's always in the hands of the Most High. We don't know. We say, yeah, they took the case, so it's 100%. Well, we don't know that. But most likely, when they take the case, it's going to be some, I call it reparations, partial reparations paid back for what this company has done and what they continue to do, because this is their system and this is their pattern of them doing these different things. We don't know who they did. It doesn't matter if the people they're doing it to are black or white. And I have so much evidence, especially with the state of, especially with this state that fined this company that did this. I have evidence that they tried to bury in the search engine, but I was able to dig it up, and it's going to be a very, very strong piece of evidence that's used, showing that this is not just a one-off thing that they're doing to us, but this is something that they're doing across the board, that's ingrained in their systems and they're training their people to basically do this. That's what I believe. Of course, it has to be proven, but when I tell you the evidence is strong, the evidence is so strong, it's ridiculous. Which again, that's why the attorney is interested in the case being sent over. We asked the guy that we spoke to, could have been a paralegal or whatnot, probably was a paralegal. Well, what are the chances that they take it? Do we need to search for another possibly another representative? And he said, yeah, you can do that, which of course we are. But if you want the best, then this is the person that you need to use. And he couldn't say too much because he's not a lawyer. And he said, I'm not a lawyer, not an attorney. I can't advise you. But I'm telling you, the way he worded, I'm paraphrasing. If I'm submitting it over, because we were on hold for like 15 minutes and he was speaking to his supervisor, and then talked to supervisor and everything, and came back and said, if we're sending it over, then they're going to take it serious, because this is basically what we do. Okay, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to hear in that regard. Again, I need y'all to pray that the Most High, that the Lord Jesus Christ, moves the hearts of these attorneys to have an open ear to hear what we have to say. If they ask questions about why they should take our case or whatever, that they take the case so we can hold these people accountable and use the situation as an example for other companies that think they can just take advantage of people no matter if they're black or white. You're taking advantage of people. You're charging people fees that you ain't supposed to charge them, and now it's going into the mortgage, like, and the people are paying this, and a lot of people probably don't realize it. Then you want your payment to be at a certain point, and then the payment is at another point, and then you really can't afford it, but you need a house, so you close on it, and then you're struggling to pay these payments, and then you end up losing your house, and all type of other stuff, and they're rejoicing because you lost your house on something that they orchestrated in evil. They got the right Negro now, because I'm not letting my foot off their neck. I'm not taking my foot off the gas. We're gonna hold them accountable. If this high prominent attorney doesn't take the case, we're gonna pursue somebody else. But we want him to take it, because we know that most likely he can get the job done, and he can get the job done with a nice reparations attached to it, which allows us to be able to do, I ain't gonna say all the things that we talked about doing, but a lot of things that we talked about doing just depends on what is the settlement, because they're not gonna take it to trial, because trust me, I can't tell you everything that I have in regards to evidence, but they're not taking this to trial. they are going to settle. They're probably going to settle fast because the evidence is just simply overwhelming because I documented everything. And like I said, when you got other agencies involved, because we're bringing light to it, and they got cases and these letters are being sent to them, and I get it to the attorney. Oh, the attorney general contacted you. When you contacted the attorney general contacted you back. That's just one attorney general. I still got 2 more attorney generals in 2 different states to contact and let them know what's going on that's dealing with this whole situation. So, again, y'all pray for us that this attorney does take this case. If you want to know who it is, just pause the video, go type in who was the lead attorney on the George Floyd civil rights violation, stuff like that, and you'll see the black dude that was involved. Oh, okay, yeah. That's how serious this is. I ain't saying we're gonna be on TV. I ain't studying all that. I ain't trying to be on TV. My wife ain't trying to be on TV. We ain't trying to be on no stadium, no podium, which is basically a stadium. No podium, standing next to this person, and we ain't trying to do all that. But we will. We're trying to handle this privately, quietly, and let him speak the way he speaks on our behalf, as a attorney, as a lawyer, to let the public know what's going on, so you can be warned and not be taken advantage of. I don't like that, man, because I used to be that way. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I used to take advantage of people. When I was doing all the dumbass stuff I was doing, all the evil stuff, all the wicked stuff, all the laws I was breaking. You know how I go. You don't get caught for everything. You get caught for what you get caught for. And the Lord opened my eyes and showed me. You know how guilty I felt, how bad I felt. Messing people's credit up and all this other stuff. So no, I'm not letting them slide. And we don't a lot of times realize that the things that we go through in the past, they can help us in the future, because God told you all things work together for the good to those that love the Lord. So you can take something you did in the past and you can learn from it, and then when you get saved, you can be able to identify it faster to use it to help people. And it's interesting because we just did a sermon speaking about standing up for the poor, standing up for the needy, standing up for the fatherless, standing up for the widows, standing up for those who can't necessarily stand up for themselves. What about all the people that don't know this has happened to them? What about all the people that they went through the process and they were trying to get some type of restitution? Because if the company, when I sent that letter and said, hey, y'all owe us this money because of what you did according to the law, if they would have just cut the check, which would have been like $5,000 or $6,000, then I would have just let it go. But they wanted to clap back and say, basically, we ain't giving you nothing because we ain't did nothing. Oh, really? You didn't close on the loan. You didn't close on the deal, so we don't owe you nothing. That's not what the law states, and this is basic stuff that you know. You're supposed to be the compliance department. It doesn't say we have to close on the law. It says that if you do this, you have to, it strictly, specifically, how you're going to put it, says that if you do X, Y, Z, you have to pay according to this law, even if the loan doesn't close. So it doesn't matter if we close or didn't close. Y'all still owe this money because you did this. It's like, okay, stop doing it. Stop doing it. Don't do that. Do what's right. If you want to do what's right, then now there's going to be severe consequences to your actions. Oh, there's a trail of you doing this? Oh, okay. Now there's going to be severe penalties. And we want there to be severe penalties when it comes to this attorney, this black prominent attorney with a bald head and a clean shaven face that has represented a whole lot of these cases that have been in the public. Again, yes, that is the attorney who wasn't, again, it wasn't him specifically, but it's still his law firm. That is who contacted us today, and we spoke to his representatives about getting this ball rolling and getting this thing going. And they had, like, again, I said, they got some other, they currently got other lawsuits going on for, not with this company we're talking about, but mortgage discrimination against veterans, black veterans. So, prayers up, y'all. pray that this case gets taken in, and then, you know, we'll go from there. I'm probably not going to speak on it again. Obviously, you know the reasons why. And if I do delete this video, obviously, you know the reasons why. Most likely, I will still probably delete it, even if they don't say anything. Maybe they ask, hey, is there anything out there that you've said about this? Like, yeah, I got a video where I was speaking about it, but I didn't mention no name. Like, you need to take that down. So most likely, I'm gonna take it down before that. But I want to, you know, get it out here to y'all so you can pray on our behalf, and, you know, we'll continue to pray for you as we should, regardless of this situation, regardless of you know, what you got going on in your life. We're gonna pray for each other. We're gonna uplift one another. We're gonna uplift one another in prayer, and we're gonna stand by the word of God, regardless of what happens. Thy will be done. So, with that being said, God bless each and every one of you. Love y'all. That's all I can say. Love y'all.